What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners video for today's 6-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com. Wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get this done for you guys after doing an early live before lock show, but I'm here, so let's celebrate right now by giving away a free month of Osmo Plus. All you have to do is like this video, and if you want to win that free month, comment your double dong pick down below. Yesterday, nobody got it right, even though there were some double dongs in the majors, so get weird with it, or pick a chalk guy. Follow your heart. But right now, like the video and comment that double dong pick down below. But for now, let's get on to our first corner on today's slate, the top pitching, and Aaron Nola going against the Cubs is going to be the top owned option industry-wide. Nola gets 4.3 implied runs against him and is expected to be the number one owned pitcher on DraftKings with 36% and on FanDuel with 30%, while he'll be number two on Yahoo with 50%. Nola's 26.5% K rate looks solid with him pitching deep into games, but with a park upgrade for the Cubs and only two hitters under a 109 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching, this is not a flawless spot given his price and how high his ownership is. Nola's ownership seems a bit high to me because there's one guy I like a bit more I'm going to talk about in a second. I think it's worth coming under the field on him and trying to differentiate a bit because I don't know if I trust him against a good hitting Cubs team. And Clayton Kershaw at Miami is that guy with 3 implied runs against him, which is a slate low. Kershaw will be the number one owned pitcher on Yahoo with 58%, while he'll be number two on DraftKings with 35% and on FanDuel with 22%. Despite the higher price for Kershaw, this seems like a safer spot with a 27.3% K rate and 134 ISO in Miami's projected lineup versus left-hand pitching. It's a higher price for Kershaw, but a better matchup and a better park, and I'm willing to pay that premium because I don't think Nola's in a safe spot, but I find it hard to believe that Kershaw gets blown up today. And Dallas Keuchel versus the Mets will be popular in some spots with the 4.5 implied runs against him. Keuchel will be number 3 owned on DraftKings at 25%, but he'll be lesser owned on FanDuel and Yahoo. Keuchel's price is appealing given how he generally limits production, but a Mets team with a 194 ISO and a 114 WRC plus versus left-hand pitching can't take advantage of his recent power struggles. This Mets lineup gets a little bit weaker without Jeff McNeil in there, but it's still a good hitting park on a hot day, and I think guys like Pete Alonso and Wilson Ramos can do some damage to Keuchel today. Now onto our next corner, the top stacks on the slate, and the Seattle stack going against Edwin Jackson is going to be really highly owned today. Seattle gets 5.4 implied runs, and Jackson remains terrible with a 2 whip and 6.2 xFIP as long as a 14.7% barreled ball rate. Seattle projects for sky-high ownership even for a slate of this size, but their 198 ISO and 101 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching can be explosive versus the poor Edwin Jackson. It's a park upgrade for Seattle going into Detroit, and a bad pitcher in Jackson. I really have no issue other than the high ownership expected for Seattle. And an Angel stack versus Chris Archer should also find some ownership today with the 5.4 implied runs for them. Archer's 26.3% K rate can cause some issues for the Angels, but the 191 ISO he allows overall offers them some opportunity. Archer is appreciably worse versus left-handed batters with a 5.2 xFIP and a 223 ISO allowed, so a one-off Shohei Ohtani with a 296 ISO and 160 WRC plus could be a less chalky move than that full Angel stack. I have no issue with the core Angels hitters here, but with a lot of ownership expected for these guys, I think I'm going to try to differentiate a bit and maybe mini stack it or one-off the guy who I just mentioned, who I'll talk about more in a second. And a St. Louis stack versus Brad Keller should find some ownership again with the 5.1 implied runs for them. St. Louis projects for relatively high ownership again due to their value pricing, even though Keller does mitigate damage fairly well. The run total and prices are appealing, but Keller's 114 ISO allowed with a serviceable 1.4 whip and 2.3% on run rate make him not an ideal full stack target. Given their prices and the park upgrade, I see how people would be willing to go to St. Louis today, but Keller is so good at keeping things in pocket where I'm definitely going to come in under the field on where St. Louis currently projects ownership-wise. Now onto our next corner, the lower owned options on the slate, and an Atlanta stack going to get Steven Matz as one of those teams. Atlanta gets 5.5 implied runs, which are a slate high, and Matz's 10.4% barreled ball rate shows quality contact, while his 21.7% K rate isn't the most inhibiting. Atlanta has a 206 ISO and 270 batting average versus left-hand pitching in a hot day at their positive hitting park, and that looks good for them as a stack. Maybe Matz somehow shuts them down, but in a hot day with that high team total, it's hard for me to not get to full stacks of Atlanta, assuming that they could blow up. And Cole Hamels at Philadelphia also interests me with the 4.7 implied runs against him. Hamels could be an interesting low-owned play despite the short slate, with Philly's projected lineup bringing a 27% K rate versus left-hand pitching. Hamels has a 23.3% K rate with just a 2.2% home run rate allowed, so even though the park downgrade is an issue, you could be quality low-owned leverage against what's going to be some decently owned Philly stacks. You could certainly spin a revenge narrative for Cole Hamels if you want, but I think the strikeout match is what I'm seeing. Nola's going to give up some free strikeouts, and Philly overall is a team I'm not terribly intimidated by. And a Dodgers stack versus Elieser Hernandez also interests me with the 5 implied runs for them. The Dodgers went off yesterday despite the power inhibiting park, and Elieser struggled hugely versus left-handed batters with a 257 ISO and 6.7 xFIP allowed. The Dodgers bring a 221 ISO and a 115 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching on the year, as well as a low 20.4% K rate, so it's possible they put up big production yet again at Miami. It's still not a great park for hitting, but all that power the Dodgers have, as well as Elieser's really appreciable lefty splits, I think it's a nice spot to go to them at not much ownership despite the short slate. And now into our last corner, the one-offs, and Max Muncy jumps out to me versus Elieser Hernandez for the reasons I just mentioned. Elieser struggles versus left-handed batters with a 6.7 xFIP and just a 14% K rate, while Muncy has a 301 ISO versus right-handed batters that can go yard in any park. York. Muncy was one of few Dodgers who didn't join in that home run barrage yesterday at Miami. I think this is a good spot to go back to him with a really nice matchup versus Eliezer Hernandez. And that big beefy boy Dan Vogelbach versus Edwin Jackson also interests me as a one-off. Vogelbach has a 264 ISO and a 6.3% on run rate versus right-hand pitching. And while Jackson is slightly better versus left-handed batters, he still does give up a 197 ISO and 5.3 xFIP. I'll tell you right now, Dan Vogelbach is going to be my home run pick later today on Live Before Lock. I like the spot for him quite a bit going against Jackson, who really hasn't shown any ability to do anything as a pitcher so far this year. And the aforementioned Shohei Ohtani versus Chris Archer also interests me as a one-off. Archer is worse versus left-handed batters with a 223 ISO and a 5.2 xFIP, while Shohei has his own 160 WRC plus and 296 ISO versus right-hand pitching at what's a really cheap price today. The full Angel stack or mini stacks do have some appeal given that power that Archer gives up, but if I had to pick one guy with the price and his power, I think Shohei Ohtani would be the one-off I like the most on the Angels. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, please like the video, and if you want to win that free month of Osmo Plus, comment your double dunk pick down below. We've also got our biggest giveaway ever going up on the @Osmo_com Twitter handle, so check out the pinned tweet there. All you have to do is give us some observations about what jumps out to you in Osmo's season-long projections, which are out right now. So go right now to the @Osmo_com Twitter handle. 10 people on there will be getting that free month of Osmo Plus as well. So if you're not winning the double down game, you can win right now if you go to @Osmo_com and check out our pinned tweet right there. And if you grow weary of all these carnival games to win a free month, you can also use this promo code Switch and Hedge for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Get all the ownership projections, the player projections, the deep dive column, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool, a lot of things for NFL season coming up as well. So right now, use that promo code Switch and Hedge for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram @ChrisSpags. I'm here with you guys every single day doing 3 shows today, and I somehow found time to get a 4 corners in there. So today, of all days, if you want to go help a boy out, go follow me on Twitter and Instagram @ChrisSpags. I'll be back on Live Before Lock later today, so subscribe and hit that notification bell to see more baseball content from me, as if you couldn't have possibly had enough today. But also, I'll be back tomorrow with another 4 corners video. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again soon, and good luck.